What if the person you saw every day, the one you knew in your heart, suddenly appeared completely different at this very moment? That is a consensus among Rachael Ray's admirers. A new visage has taken the place of the familiar one, the cheerful, outgoing chef, and many claim they can hardly recognize it. And now everyone is wondering what happened to her. Soak it all in before you lay eyes on her. The solution is far more significant and surprising than you initially believed. We start in May of 2025. In honor of Mother's Day, Rachael shared a video. She was chatting about her life in the past while wearing spectacles in her kitchen. She recounted her incredibly humble beginnings as a New York City resident. She was too embarrassed to tell her mom she was broke because she only had $40 a week. Fans, however, did not center around the plot. They were concentrated on Rachael herself. Controversy ensued in the comments area. People were worried. Her voice quivered slightly. Do you need someone to talk to? It wasn't the first time someone observed, "You don't look well." Another person added, "She's unrecognizable." For months, this wave of anxiety had been steadily increasing. Other of her culinary films that she uploaded in the autumn of 2020 caused her viewers to feel there seems to be a problem. The criticism was severe. Where is she now? She seems okay, doesn't she? Someone penned a piece. I was astounded that it was her, as another person mentioned. It is not an act of cruelty. This is merely a point of view. As for the most prevalent, here we have Rachael Ray. A new person emerges before her eyes. Some of the fans began pointing at particular items. Apparently, her speech came up as garbled. Some were concerned that her jawline seemed uneven. Fearful conjecture ensued as a result of this. Openly, people were concerned that she might have had a stroke. Some of the fans speculated about even worse motives behind the change. Her supporters begged for mercy, with some speculating that her use of steroids may be masking a more serious medical condition. No one has ever heard back from Rachael about these remarks. In spite of everyone's worries, she has not addressed her health. It looked like the lady in these films was exhausted, delicate, and completely dissimilar to the dynamic celebrity we all recalled. Fans had this impression. A terrified, unrecognizable lady. However, the woman on the red carpet revealed a surprising revelation just 1 month following that May 2025 video, an alternative account. Rachael Ray made an extremely unusual public appearance on June 12, 2025. The North Shore Animal League is America's celebration of rescue, and she and her husband, John Cusimano, came out to support a cause they're passionate about. It was a monumental occasion. There was Howard Stern. On hand was Hank Azaria. Rachael, meanwhile, appeared strong and healthy as she walked the red carpet. Pictures of her beaming with joy were captured by the photographers. Her face beamed with joy. She was photographed beside her spouse, and the cameras caught sight of them holding puppies. It seems like she was smiling. By all appearances, she was in good health. For the majority of onlookers, this marked a return to public view after an absence of 1 year. That same event also marked her final public appearance, way back in June of 2024. This further added to the air of intrigue. In June, we see a happy mother cuddling her puppies. How is this the same mom from May, who has barely seen the video? Was she only acting courageously? What was she trying to conceal? Where might she be if she is well and content? How is she doing? Why doesn't she come out more often? This adds to the mystery surrounding the disappearance. Rachael Ray was a regular in our lives for 17 years. On 5 days a week, Rachael Ray hosted her daytime discussion show. Then it came to a close in 2023. Rachael has suddenly disappeared from daytime television. It was widely believed that she had vanished without a trace. She has, however, addressed this matter. She insists she was never gone. According to her, she was always working. After that, where did she disappear to? The first major revelation is the answer. Her presence extends beyond the Big Apple. Rachael Ray now divides her time between a tiny, peaceful hamlet in New York, close to Tuscany, Italy. She expressed a preference for residing in Italy. Live more peacefully, she says. No, she is merely occupied. Even though she put an end to her podcast, I'll Sleep, When I'm Dead in late 2024, she returned to it for only 8 episodes. Why? She explained to People magazine that it was due to a large order for new shows that her own company had received. She is busier than ever before, but her life is much more peaceful in her new nation. However, a more substantial inquiry is prompted by this. Why leave a great program that has been running for 17 years? Are there any reasons to relocate to Italy? Why did she feel the desire for solitude so intensely? If you want to know why she had to run, you have to know what happened that fateful night. You must return to the night when her entire universe crumbled into dust. On that fateful night, her entire universe collapsed. August 9th, 2020 was the date. Located in Lake Luzerne, New York, Rachael was at her home, a house tucked away in the woods. This was her haven. She was a designer. Bella, her mother, and her husband John were all at home with her. It began after that. In retrospect, she recalled the exact instant she realized something was amiss. She reported hearing the sound of flames within the wall. Listening to the rumble of electricity and the crackle of flames, I realized that a fire had broken out and was advancing rapidly. Fortunately, the family and the dog managed to escape unharmed, but the woman's home and her life were destroyed. Depicted raging inferno erupting from the house. Rachael described the event as blood-curdling. Standing on the roadside, she beheld the whole destruction of her home. Although she lost everything, it was the intangibles that caused the most pain. Things that are less easily replaced, such as notebooks and her husband's music books, were also destroyed in the fire. She shared a tragic story about her home's pizza oven, which she mistook for a bomb shelter in the days following the disaster. It was a single small item that managed to stay alive. However, she was mistaken. 12 or 13 days later, something else fell and smashed the pizza oven as well. The house was completely destroyed. Destroyed. Her reply was very remarkable. She expressed gratitude and assured her admirers, "We're all okay. These are the days we all have to be grateful for what we have, not what we've lost, but the trauma was deep." That they were all okay is what she told her fans. She was transformed at that instant. From personal experience, I can tell. When disaster strikes your home, your life changes forever. She said it herself in a sad video years later. The occurrence that underscores the necessity of a more sedate existence in Italy is this before and after moment. It clarifies the pain that her admirers may be perceiving in her expressions and tone of speech. How could anyone endure such a thing? How could anyone recover from witnessing the destruction of their life? The reality is that Rachael Ray has always been one to stand up for herself. This wasn't Rachael Ray's first assault. In the 1990s, before she became a TV star, she resided in New York City and worked her way up the candy counter at Macy's, oversaw the fresh food section, and co-founded the renowned gourmet market Agata and Valentina. It was a dreadful random attack, but her life in the city was even worse. Outside her Queens apartment, she was raped. A man threw her against the door and stuck a gun in her back. She screamed and beat him off with mace. A few days later, her attacker, "He beat the crap out of me with his gun," she recalled later, after the same man had returned and located her in the same spot. This time, he had pulled her into a side alley. She just escaped with the help of Liza, her dog. You can see the pattern? A dreadful, life-altering experience. The dog chased the man and scared him away. After being attacked twice by the same man, she had had enough. She left Queens and returned to her hometown upstate. A horrific, life-altering trauma as a result of the fire. So she ran away. She eventually made it back to upstate New York, where she rebuilt her life decades later. Rachael fled to Italy to start again, but it was that first escape, the one that followed the horrific attacks, that unintentionally launched her entire career. After returning to upstate New York, she found work as a food buyer at a gourmet shop in Albany named Cowan and Lowell. She had the bright idea of starting a cooking class, which she dubbed 30 In It Mediterranean Meals, to assist increase the store's holiday food sales. She wasn't a qualified chef, but she loved food. The program was a smashing success, and she even got a 30-minute meal piece on the local news every week from CBS station WRGB, who took notice of her vivacious personality and her easy recipes. She landed her first contract in 2001 from the Food Network after landing a place on the Today Show thanks to that local news segment and her first cookbook. Executives at the network were watching the show and fell in love with her. 30 Minute. She went from 30 minutes of meals a day to $40 a day, delicious adventures in Side Dish, and dozens of cookbooks after the birth of meals. With Rachael Ray, she had her own daily magazine and her massively successful dog food company, Nutrish. She was the biggest star in the food industry, but she was also really approachable. She wasn't some pretentious chef. She was just like the rest of us. However, the lady who had been assaulted in that alley was about to face another assault. This time from the traditionalist, the untouchable, the queen of perfection, Martha Stewart, who had a problem with Rachael Ray's success. The new guard, Rachael, was all about efficiency and speed. In contrast to Martha's obsession with perfection, in a now-famous interview, Martha ripped into Rachael, calling her an performer who isn't competent in the kitchen. Martha further went on to criticize Rachael's new cookbook, claiming that it was nothing more than a compilation of Rachael's older recipes rearranged. This feud appeared to be lopsided, but the true drama was unfolding behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. And this is the part that most people don't know. In September 2006, 4 of Martha Stewart's own employees were apprehended attempting to sneak into a taping of Ray's show. They were subsequently expelled, according to a source, because Rachael's squad was spying on her, and they lied about their identities. In response, the fighter Rachael chose not to fight back, instead winning by simply being herself. This highlights the seriousness of the threat Rachael actually posed. "I have nothing but respect for Martha," Rachael responded when questioned about Martha's remarks, saying, "Her skill set is far beyond mine." She even agreed with her. "Even I would prefer Martha's to mine." After that, she handed it over. The ideal statement, the one that summed up her entire brand. "I am not employed by Martha," she declared. "Viewers are my boss." She was publicly battling Martha, and triumphed. Her natural dog food was the subject of multiple lawsuits, including one that claimed it contained a weed-killing agent, another that claimed it had artificial preservatives, and the most peculiar of them, the one that claimed. Rachael Ray was no stranger to conflict. She had fought a gun-wielding assailant, a daytime TV queen, legal battles, and a tragic fire. DNA testing revealed that her lamb recipe dog food had canine DNA. After 17 years on her popular talk show, Rachael Ray decided she had had enough of fighting and was ready for a new chapter. So, the biggest issue is, why did she really quit the show? The Rachael Ray show ended in 2023. Following 17 years and 77 seasons on top, she announced her departure, saying, "It's time for me to move on." The obvious reason for this is a fall in ratings, which is true, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Moving away from the talk show format and onto a platform free of distribution norms has been my life's work. What does it mean to be free from the constraints of conventional wisdom? Meaningful command. This eliminates the need to answer to network executives, advertising, or follow conventional. Regulations, no star ratings. In the end, it's all about the fire. Recall that she broadcast her show from her cramped guest house, following the fire that destroyed her home. John, her husband, and she did it all on their own. A new way of life was introduced to her. Our small realm. She added where we could be ourselves. There was this one moment when we had to open the door to everyone. The experience taught her the importance of reclaiming her own space. She was no longer interested in letting anyone in. She then took commanding position. She launched her new company, Free Food Studios, on the same day that her 17-year talk program was announced to be ending. There was no cancellation for her. She kept working. Quickly, she turned around. She uprooted her life and launched a new empire. Plus, she's starting from a new place to create it, a house that she constructed entirely out of scraps. She has finally found her ideal home in Italy and is presently here. The reward is this. This is Rachael Ray's current location. Right now, she's in Tuscany, Italy. A stunning Italian property was not all she purchased, though doing that is not her thing. A stable that was decades old was her purchase. She purchased it in a state devoid of running water, power, heat, and plumbing. Long since it had been deserted, the ruins stood. Can you make it out now? In terms of rebuilds, this is all. The house she called home in New York City was destroyed in a fire. It had vanished. Thus, she traveled to Italy and discovered a ruin. Additionally, she revived it. You can see the pattern here. She meticulously recreated her destroyed New York home from memory after the fire. Improving rather than merely purchasing things captivates her. Rachael Ray's latest series, Italian Dream Home, documented the whole wild makeover. She constructed a music hall for her husband, John, and they had to dig floors merely to raise the ceilings to the necessary height. As is typical of Rachael, she even constructed a whole kitchen within the bedroom. This Italian mansion is not a rental. Here she now has her office. This is her brand new beginning, which serves as a nerve center of her newly formed kingdom. At the moment, she is engaged in this activity. Right now, she looks like this. She has left her position as a daytime TV host. Studio head is her job title. Unleashing free food studios was her brainchild. This system, she just inked a huge new deal for 110 new episodes of programming. And A+, he was so thrilled that they bought a 50% stake. She has her own lifestyle channel, Homemade Nation, where she stars. There are her new series airing already. To start with, Tuscany is home to Rachael Ray. It was shot by that particular company. Her Tuscan home's brand new kitchen. Rabbit ragu and chicken piccata are some of the regional foods that she prepares. Her wishes come true. Secondly, there is a Meals in Minutes program by Rachael Ray. Her signature 30-minute dishes get a modern update. Afterwards, there's the third and final episode, the pivotal one, the one that clarifies everything. Rachael Ray's Rebuild is the name of it. Please don't take this show lightly. She has made it her new goal. The fire in her own house served as a direct inspiration. Rachael restores hope to a new family in each episode after tragedy strikes. Victims of natural disasters, including tornadoes, floods, and fires, are among her clients. In order to aid them, she draws on her own terrifying experience. Rachael, visibly moved, says in the show's promotional video, that is, individuals' houses and lifestyles can be restored with my assistance. Fans are seeking this response. She seems okay, doesn't she? An unrecognizable, quivering woman catches their eye. However, a victim does not appear to them. You're witnessing a survivor. She has not been damaged. That woman knows how to run things. She is a real person who has endured the unfathomable. Her life was engulfed in flames. Her trauma was turned into money. For the benefit of others, she made a television show out of her darkest nightmare. And she was able to accomplish all of it due to a final astounding fact. An estimated $100 million is Rachael Ray's net worth. Spending so much time in front of the TV created this enormous fortune. It originated with her best-selling cookbooks. It was part of her well-liked cookware collection. Nutrish, her line of pet food, was a major contributor. The sum of $100 million is significant. This is liberty, the independence, leaving a popular show that ran for 17 years. Giving bosses and the network the boot is what it's all about. This is a liberty to purchase an Italian stable that lacks power and then invest a fortune into restoring it. The independence to launch production company. Staff it however you see fit and grow into a powerful empire in which you have complete control. So, the woman in those disturbing videos, Rachael Ray, is not a broken person when you see her now. Someone who has been through hell and back is staring back at you, taking a deep breath. The very definition of the title is not for a unfortunate event. The realization that she did not merely survive is the shock factor. Living in her ideal house in Italy and rising from the ashes of her former empire, she is completely in charge.